Ninja Storm 5. Sorry, I meant Connections. Connections is a big talking topic right now, and I'll be real with you. I've been avoiding all of this just because when initially this was shown, I thought this was just got a remastered collection or something. It kind of is, but it's not. I don't know. I have not seen the trailer. I've just seen what people talked about on Twitter and what we talked about on Everyday Beam Struggle this past weekend. And honestly, I have a lot to say about this, but first I'm gonna watch the trailer and kind of like see what they showed, and then kind of give you my overall thoughts about the current state of Naruto games and why I personally think that this is a good move for Naruto games, you know? So without further ado, I'm gonna hit play. Comment section below if you want to let me know your overall thoughts at all about Connections. Are you excited, not excited, anything at all? And then we can discuss it. But I think what this game is going to be, it's a good thing in the right direction, and I'll explain why after we watch the trailer. All right, let's see what we got. So they are recutting the stories from the past games into one. So this is like an Ultimate Edition, right? I mean, I'm not mad. I want to replay this again. And it looks gorgeous too. That's the thing about CZ2 and Naruto Storm games. They always look so good. Like, look at this. This looks so good. I mean, granted, it still looks pretty similar to what the game originally looked like, but it already looked good to begin with. All right, this is just basically the combat mechanic that we already know. It's the same games, the Storm series. And I think they said there's 2 new characters. Is it only 2 new characters, or is it 2 characters who are revealed so far? I do not care about Boruto. I'll be honest with you. I don't care what characters you added from Boruto. There's probably nothing that's gonna get me super excited. No offense. I'm just saying I don't consume Boruto, but I want to play what I, consumed and grew up with. So you give me the cast from Naruto, I'm chilling, I'm fine. Ooh, it looks so clean. They're not gonna give us a HUD or anything, are they? I'm gonna assume the HUD will look the same. Is that it? Oh, here we go. These are the new characters. Is that it? So they literally showed nothing. Classic Bandai. Okay, so it's basically like an Ultimate Edition from the looks of it. Here's why I don't think this is a bad thing. We have not had a solid Storm game in what? Years now. It's been like at least 5 years plus. A good minute since Storm 4 came out. Final Storm. And, Shinobi Striker, while it might be a fun game to some, I feel like it has never been my cup of tea. I tried to play it. It was fun with friends, but it's not one of those games I could fully get invested in like I used to get invested in the Storm series. I got my old playthrough behind me in the background while I'm discussing this. And I feel like them dropping Connections right now is a good way to kind of bridge the current generation of Naruto fans to have something else to play other than Shinobi Striker. But the thing is this is my issue with Bandai games in general. Does it matter if they call it Connections versus Storm 5? Let's be real, Bandai doesn't really innovate with their games once they get the formula just right, What Bandai does is they'll drop first game, and that first game is ass. But we like it. We have fun for what it is. You guys remember Budokai 1? It was a great game at the time. Budokai 1 was a terrible game. And we know that because when they released Budokai 2 and then also Budokai 3, the growth was just like, oh my god. But after you reach like the Budokai 2, Budokai 3 mark, you kind of like reach that point where it's like you can't really change much in the game other than add new characters, and the game kind of just ends. Xenoverse is a great example. Xenoverse, for what it was a fantastic game at the time, and then Xenoverse 2 happened. And then you go back to Xenoverse 1, you're just like, oh my god, how are we able to play this? Now, if Xenoverse 3 ever was to come out, it won't be much different from Xenoverse 2 because they got the formula right. All they really have to do to make a Xenoverse 3 at this point is just add a brand new story, tweak some balances, and then potentially make the netcode better. But let's be real, they wouldn't even do that. I mean, it's Bandai. They don't tend to super improve things like that in the end game. The Storm series is a good example because Storm series has been basically the same game over the course of the last like 15 years of the series existing, however long it's been. And I don't mean it in a bad way. Storm series as a formula was right. They got it just right. And every time they release a game, all they really would just do was just tweak kind of the balances. They would add a couple new things, a couple new characters, some maps, and then call it a day. And we enjoyed it because the series is great. So whether or not they call this Storm Connections or Storm 5, it's gonna be essentially the same game. But let's be even realer. We're talking about Bandai here. They're gonna drop Connections. They're gonna give us the ultimate edition of this game. We're gonna play the hell out of it for like the next, what, 4 or 5 years? And then they're gonna realize, hey, maybe we should do Storm 5 after all. And then they drop the next game, which is gonna be Connections plus a little bit more features added to the game. So again, it's not a bad thing. It's just, in the end, as an anime game fan, we always want to see more in our games. Let's be real. We want to see our favorite characters. We want to see perfect netcode. We want to see all these things. But at some point, we got to realize that Bandai doesn't do these. And developers in general, they don't really do these things a lot because it's impossible to make every fan of a game happy, no matter how much they try. I mean, if they happen to want to make the perfect anime game, Xenoverse 3 drops, where they fix the netcode issues, they give us Storm 5 that fixes all the issues that past Storm games have, then, you know, at that point, it's like, damn, we were wrong. I can't believe they actually did that. But asking for something like that, I feel like it's so unrealistic sometimes just because, like, it's never happened in the past because they don't have a really good track record, if that makes sense. So, again, Storm Connections, I think, is a great idea because, like, it'll give us something to play. It'll establish a player base where you'll be able to play Storm games in 2023, and I think that's great, you know? Now, if the game ends up being ass, then it's like, all right, cool. But hopefully it won't be in that situation. Hopefully it ends up being just right. Because, I mean, I don't really know what they can do to, I guess, mess anything up that makes sense. You know, Storm 4 was a great game. I think Storm 4 was a fantastic of the series that wrapped it up. And as long as it plays like Storm 4 plus more, I think it'd be good. And from what I've been hearing, and this is the part where it's all like complete rumors, because you know how it is on the internet. Anytime anything is leaking or being revealed, everyone's all like, yeah, I got the plug. It's like, you ain't got no plug. Let's say they might have the plug. If what I'm hearing is true, they're improving a lot on gameplay mechanics that weren't exactly good or fun to play against in a Storm 4 series. Therefore, if that's right, this is shaping up to be the best Storm game to ever been released. I hope I'm right. I hope those rumors are right. And at that point, if Connections ends up being perfect as a Storm game, does it matter that it's called Storm Connections versus Storm 5? Is it Storm 5 at that point? It basically is. Here's another example. Infinite World. I think Infinite World is the best of the Budokais. A lot of people didn't play this just because Infinite World came out at this weird time when Burst Limit came. This came out after Burst Limit, if you want to think about it, like timeline-wise. We were already in the Xbox 360 and PS3, and Atari thought, you know, it'd be cool. Let's release a Dragon Ball game on the previous gen and just in the previous gen. You know why I'm pointing this out? Because this is probably an equivalent to this, to Storm Connections, because this is technically Budokai 4. They took all the good aspects of Budokai 3 and put it into a game and released it, you know, and that's why I like this game more than Budokai 3, because it's has more mechanics to actually play as opposed to being reliant on stuff like RNG with the Dragon Rush mechanic, which I never really liked. So if this ends up being the Infinite World, the Storm games, this is great. It's a great idea. I'm with it. I'm here for it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment section below. Let me know your initial thoughts and then your thoughts after kind of like talking about this in this situation where it's like, it's a great game idea, or is it a terrible idea? Let me know where you guys stand with this. Obviously, the more we get as far as gameplay reveals over the course of the next couple months, the more we'll be able to talk about it. But I don't think this is initially bad. But I do kind of find it funny that it was kind of like revealed as what we all thought was going to be Storm 5. And I think the big issue also with that is we've been hearing Storm 5 leaks and rumors for months. So when you see a Storm game revealed and you think Storm 5 is happening, ends up being something else, you're like, come on, bro. Well, let's all be real. This is a spiritual successor to 4. It's going to be likely the same thing as 5. It just happens to be called Connections because they're connecting all the games into one, and they're kind of giving us a home turf to play all these games in the current gen. But then again, you also get the debate at that point where it's like, all right, you're basically just reselling us the same game for the 20th time. Look, bro, as someone bought Skyrim 1,000 times, I don't care. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to have fun with it. There's going to be content made, and if you're with it, join the journey. If not, I guess wait for the next game, whenever that's going to come out. I'll tell you one thing, though, for sure. I'm not playing Shinobi Striker. I'd rather play Connections than show me Shinobi Striker. Anyways, again, no disrespect if you like Shinobi Striker, you know? To each and their own. It's not my kind of game. But then again, I also like Breakers, so I guess I don't really have much to say here. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and connections down below, and let's just see where this goes, and hopefully this ends up being a really, really good thing for the Naruto community in general. Content-wise, I feel like it's going to be a breath of fresh air, because seeing Storm videos again in 2023 is going to be great, because I don't know how many of you guys were around for the original, like, Storm, was it Storm 2, Storm 3, Revelations, and even Storm 4 era on YouTube, but that era was amazing. And I want to see that come back in 2023 and see how that goes content-wise and stuff like that. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I guess stay tuned for more whenever we get more information in regards to Naruto Storm Generations. Naruto Storm Connections in 2023.